I'm sitting on the porch watching my grandson play basketball in the driveway, and he just stops, puts the ball down and walks over with this expression I've never seen on his face before. Not frustrated, not upset, just hollow, like someone pulled the plug on something vital inside him. He's 16. I ask if he's okay and he nods. I ask if he wants to talk and he shakes his head. Then, after what feels like forever, he says something that hasn't left me alone since. He says, "Grandpa, do you ever wonder if any of this actually means anything?" I'm Robert, and I'm 87 years old. I've buried friends, lost businesses, survived a war, and made mistakes that still keep me up some nights. And that question from my grandson, it hit me hard, because I've wrestled with that same question probably 1,000 times. The difference is I'm here at the finish line looking behind, and he's at the starting blocks. Looking ahead, and somewhere in the space between those two vantage points, I think I've finally figured something out. We live in a culture drowning in the pursuit of significance. Everybody wants to make their mark, transform society, be immortalized. I watch it happen every day. People chase titles they believe will make them important. They broadcast their lives online, searching for approval. They calculate their value by how many followers they have, and I understand it. I truly do. But here's what I've discovered after almost 9 decades breathing air on this earth. The things that genuinely matter almost never feel important in the moment. Let me tell you about Mr. Chen. He owned the hardware store on 5th Street for 38 years. Never expanded, never franchised, never became wealthy. He sold hammers and nails and light bulbs from the same small shop his entire working life. When he closed the doors for the last time, there was a modest gathering in the parking lot. Maybe 25 people came. No reporters, no fanfare worth mentioning. He received a handshake and a card signed by regular customers. 3 years later, he died, peacefully surrounded by family. At his memorial service, I figured it would be intimate, quiet. Mr. Chen had always been reserved, humble, but that chapel overflowed with people, some standing in the hallway, and person after person rose to share. A carpenter who said Mr. Chen spotted his talent and gave him his first real tools. A young woman who said Mr. Chen taught her about running a business with integrity when her own father wasn't around. A contractor in his 60 seconds who explained he learnt the value of craftsmanship because Mr. Chen never sold him cheap materials, even when he couldn't afford better. Story after story, paths shifted, futures influenced, all because of a man who believed he was simply running his shop. Mr. Chen never attempted to revolutionize anything. He never craved the spotlight. He opened his doors day after day and gave genuine attention to whoever walked in. He remembered their projects. He understood when they were struggling financially. He'd extend credit or find creative solutions. Nothing remarkable, nothing that would generate viral posts. But the waves from his existence are still moving outward years later, through people he never knew existed. I think we've misunderstood the whole thing. We believe mattering requires visibility, fame, being praised by masses, but that's not the architecture of reality. Reality is constructed from tiny exchanges between individuals. A comment that reshapes how someone thinks. A gesture that appears right when someone's ready to quit. Being there when it costs you something. Paying attention when you'd prefer to zone out. These moments don't register as meaningful while they're unfolding. They seem mundane, forgettable, easy to overlook. When I was 42, everything was falling apart. My marriage was hanging by a thread. Debt was crushing me. I was angry all the time, sleeping maybe 3 hours a night. I felt like a complete failure. One afternoon I was parked outside a liquor store, convincing myself to go in, and this woman I'd met maybe once at church, Linda, tapped on my passenger window. We'd exchanged hellos before. Nothing more. She said she was picking up groceries and wondered if I could help her carry something heavy. Just like that. No intervention speech, no judgment, just needed help. We spent an hour at her apartment. She didn't interrogate me about my problems. She didn't offer solutions I hadn't thought of. We just moved furniture and talked about simple things, her garden, a recipe she was trying, a documentary she watched. And somehow, in the midst of that completely unremarkable afternoon, something inside me loosened. I didn't walk into that liquor store. I drove home. I barely recall all the details we discussed, but that hour mattered. It altered the direction of my day, possibly my decade, and Linda probably had forgotten about it by dinner time. That's the nature of mattering. It's rarely cinematic. It doesn't wave a flag. You won't receive an alert informing you that something you did redirected someone's entire trajectory. Usually you'll remain clueless. You'll do something that registers as minor in your mind, and it'll be foundational to someone else. And you'll continue on believing it was meaningless. My wife Catherine used to bake bread, not professionally, just because she enjoyed it. She'd bake extra loaves and bring them to neighbours. She'd drop off fresh bread to the elderly folks on our street. She'd leave loaves for the mail carrier, the garbage collectors, anyone who came to mind. I used to joke with her about it. I'd say, "Kath, you know, they sell bread at the store, right?" She'd laugh and keep baking. After she passed, I discovered notes and cards people had saved from her. And in nearly all of them, someone wrote about how much her bread meant, how it arrived on their worst days, how they'd never forget her kindness. She wasn't attempting to matter. She was just sharing what she loved, but she mattered profoundly. Here's what I wish someone had explained to me when I was younger. Your existence doesn't need to be spectacular to have meaning. Actually, it probably shouldn't be. The expectation to be remarkable, to be different, to create enormous impact, that expectation destroys people. It convinces them their regular life is insufficient, like caring for their family, performing their work with honesty, treating strangers with respect. Like none of that registers unless it's transformed into something newsworthy. But reality is, virtually everything that prevents our society from collapsing is accomplished by people history won't record. Parents who comfort crying toddlers at 3 a.m, employees who arrive when they're supposed to and do quality work, friends who reach out when they sense something's wrong, people who donate time, who pick up trash, who sit with the lonely, citizens who participate, who help their neighbours, who hold doors open, small, invisible actions that prevent everything from unravelling. You want confirmation that you matter. Examine the people immediately around you. Are you fully there with them? Are you truthful? Are you generous when it's inconvenient? Do you honour your commitments? Do you create space for other people's struggles? Do you genuinely share in their happiness? These questions won't earn you awards or recognition. They won't build your brand or multiply your reach, but they'll decide whether your existence actually counted for something. I've been wrestling with my grandson's question constantly. Does any of this actually mean anything? And I've come to understand the question itself is flawed, because when we wonder if we matter, we're typically wondering if we matter on some massive quantifiable scale. if we're significant, powerful, extraordinary. But mattering doesn't function that way. Mattering is softer. It's more intimate. It's understanding that your existence or non-existence would create a genuine difference for actual people. When my granddaughter was 8, she struggled terribly with reading, wouldn't open a book. Every evening for 4 months, I sat with her for 20 minutes. Just sat there while she stumbled through pages. I didn't criticize. I didn't pressure. I just remained beside her while she built confidence. By Christmas, she was reading on her own. Now she's 19 and studying literature, and she probably doesn't recall those 20-minute sessions. But I remember because I recognized that without that consistency, without that patience, her relationship with books might have been damaged forever. That's mattering. Not because it's extraordinary, because it's tangible. The further I go, the clearer it becomes that most of what society values is illusion. Reputation evaporates. Awards collect dust. People lose track of your successes quicker than you'd imagine, but they don't lose track of how you treated them. They don't lose track of your reliability. They don't lose track of how you acknowledged them when they felt overlooked. Those things endure. They ripple outward in patterns you'll never completely grasp. I was at the pharmacy yesterday and the young man behind the counter seemed defeated, shoulders slumped, barely making eye contact. I could have simply collected my prescription and walked out, but I made conversation, actually engaged. Not the reflexive small talk everyone exchanges. He seemed caught off guard. Then something shifted in his expression. He mentioned he'd just lost his apartment, was living in his car temporarily. We spoke for maybe 4 minutes. I told him that difficult seasons don't define us, that his resilience was remarkable. Before I left, he said it was the first real conversation he'd had in weeks. Will that exchange revolutionize anything? Absolutely not. Did it matter to him right then? I believe it did. So here's my response to my grandson, and perhaps to you. What you do matters, but almost certainly not how you expect. It matters in the unremarkable moments, the unglamorous ones, the ones you won't photograph or highlight on social media. It matters when you select compassion over frustration, when you speak truth even when deception is more comfortable, when you assist someone even though nobody's keeping score, when you remain, when walking away would be easier. Your life doesn't need to be extraordinary to matter. It simply needs to be authentic, engaged, compassionate, and that's more challenging than it appears, because those qualities demand you stay alert, to be present even when you're exhausted, to invest yourself even when it's inconvenient. But that's where genuine significance exists, not in public recognition, in the consistent, unglamorous work of being fully human with other humans. I'm 87, my time here is limited, and when I consider what I hope my life represented, I don't focus on achievements or public acknowledgement. I think about the people I cherished completely, the instances I was undistracted and available, the occasions I contributed without requiring recognition, the dialogues where I genuinely absorbed what was said. These are what mattered. These are what will persist beyond me. If this resonates at all, I'd be grateful if you'd pass this video along to someone who might need it. Leave a comment telling me what's one small thing you're going to be more intentional about, and subscribe if you're interested in more of these reflections. I still have some things I want to say while I can, and I'd prefer to say them to people who genuinely want to listen